My plan today was to go to the floating market at Klong Hare. I've been calling every month to ask whether it's open yet, and they keep telling me no, maybe next month, and it finally opened at the beginning of this month, August. However, I spoke to my wife and she wanted to go to the agricultural fair at the Prince of Songkla University, which is where we are now, and this is only temporary, so we won't have many opportunities, but the floating market's open from now on every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So I'll just take you for a look around the agricultural fair. This is a big fair, huge actually, that takes place every August, but it hasn't taken place for a few years because of COVID. It attracts people from all over southern Thailand, and there's a lot of variety here. The fairs in Thailand, there are quite a few, but they're all very much the same and all very boring. And as we saw recently with that thing at Central Festival about ancient food, there's no actual ancient food there, it's just food vendors, and these vendors sell the same things that they sell at every fair. So you might go to a fair that's called the ASEAN Trade Fair, and you think, oh, I'm going to find out a bit about trade in the ASEAN region, and there's nothing, it's just food vendors. But this one is different. There's actually a huge amount of stuff here, and it's very varied and quite interesting. This section is devoted to pets. This particular shop is fish, and up there there'll be cats and dogs and things. And a bit of a disaster, the last time I was here, my wife decided to buy 2 rabbits for the kids. So we got them home. The kids lost interest very quickly, so it ended up with me sort of looking after them. Very messy creatures, a huge mess to clean up every day. They bit through electrical cabling and air conditioning cabling, and they were a real pain. Eventually I gave them away to a little girl who liked rabbits. So I've told them today, absolutely, we're not buying any pets. This reminds me of a few years ago when we ended up going home with 2 of these creatures. Very difficult creatures to look after. We've got 1 cat at home and she's a lot easier. Here we have some very small tortoises, some hedgehogs, not like the ones I used to see in my garden in England, and some small furry rodents. I'm not exactly sure what they are, gerbils or something, I'm not an expert on rodents. And more hedgehogs. Here are some puppies. They've got all breeds and they look very cute, but as they say, a dog isn't just for Christmas. It's not just today. If you're taking on the responsibility of looking after a dog, you've got to look after it for many years to come. Some more puppies. Cats are my favourite, but I haven't seen any yet. Maybe we will come to those in a minute. Pen conที่ไหนครับ Pen con ที่ไหนครับ
อันนี้ผมมาจากเชียงใหม่ครับ
เชียงใหม่
ครับผม
Okay.
เรามาทุกปี
Okay. This vendor selling dogs is from Chiang Mai, and that's actually very common here. You get vendors from all over the country. And later we should see some furniture and handicrafts. And normally the best looking stuff is the stuff from Chiang Mai. There's some squirrels, and this shop's also got birds, and I still haven't seen any cats, so I don't know what's happened to the cats. I've just been told there are some cats in this direction, so we're going to take a look, see if we can find them. Haha! We're in the middle, George. The weather doesn't look too promising. Just recently it's been extremely hot in the morning up until around lunchtime, just after, and then very heavy rain in the afternoon, and I think that pattern's going to follow today. You get a lot of car dealers here as well, so all the brands of car that are sold in Thailand will be on display today. And this is known as the Agricultural Fair. So you'll also see agricultural vehicles, tractors and things, and there's also a huge amount of plants for sale. And a lot of food and snacks. And barbecued fish. And motorbikes. I'm beginning to see a lot of Chinese made vehicles in Thailand these days. We just passed a place selling Havao, like SUVs. They look quite nice. They're a lot cheaper than the sort of Toyota or Honda makes. And this is a little electric vehicle, and it looks suspiciously like a smart car. The Chinese are quite notorious for copying designs. So a jewellery stand here and kitchenware. There really is an amazing variety of goods at this fair, and that's something else that makes it very unlike other Thai fairs. The other place I normally get bored quite quickly, but here you can spend a long time and you still won't see everything. And I'm not sure how well known this is to tourists. It's extremely well known to locals in Hat Yai, and also to a lot of people in other southern Thai provinces. Most of the signs I see are all in Thai, but if you're a tourist in Hat Yai and you're here while this is going on, it's really worth a visit. Here's a vendor selling new clothes, and I've just spotted something that I really wish was permanent in Hat Yai. It's a kebab stall, and I really love a kebab now and again, and you just can't get them in Hat Yai. When I go to Bangkok, I always make sure I get a kebab. When Central Festival first opened, there was a kebab stall, and I was really happy. But apparently it didn't go down very well. I might have enjoyed kebabs, but the locals didn't, and it shut shortly afterwards. This Mayor Jarin cake store is really popular. This is a regular feature at the Agricultural Fair every year, and the products sell really well. So my wife's gone over there to buy some cakes, and I'm going to treat myself to a kebab. So I'll be back soon after I've eaten my kebab. The kebab vendors are Muslim, so there's no pork here, chicken and beef kebabs. And because they're Muslim, I imagine they would come from sort of southern Thailand somewhere. They're actually from Chiang Rai. More clothes and jewellery in this area. And that kebab, honestly, without exaggeration, that's probably the best thing I've eaten in Hat Yai for a very long time. Really delicious. I'm really not into clothes or fashion, as you would find out if you met me, but they've got some nice stuff here, and this is a little bit different to what I usually see in women's clothes shops in Hat Yai. So it's like traditional materials but with modern designs. These things look really nice. A problem for a lot of foreign girls will be the size. The Thai girls tend to be quite slim and petite, and they just don't have the big sizes that a lot of foreign girls need. This shop has caught my wife's attention, so she's gone in to have a bit of a closer look. I just asked the guy where these were made, and the answer was Chiang Mai. As I said earlier, it seems all of the best designed and best looking products in Thailand all come from Chiang Mai, and a bit later we should see some furniture, and again the best looking stuff will probably come from Chiang Mai. That region of the country seems to have a really good artistic flair. Belts and handbags, leather goods, more clothes. My wife just bought a really nice top from that shop that was selling goods from Chiang Mai, and she confirmed what I was saying. So it's very difficult to find anything like this in Hat Yai, and if you do find it, it's very, very expensive. So it's not another good thing about this fair is that you'll find things that you can't find the rest of the year. I've just been told by a vendor that this is actually the first day, and the fair runs until the 21st of August. So if you're planning a trip to Hat Yai in the next week or so, I would highly recommend a trip to the Prince of Songkla University Agricultural Fair. And locally, this place is known as Mo'o, and the agricultural fair is the Ngang Gaset. But it shouldn't be too difficult to find a taxi driver. Just tell him PSU or Mo'o and he'll bring you here. Here's another big food area, and there's seating here to eat your food. And outside I can see it's got very dark, and I can hear thunder and I can hear rain, but most of the areas are covered, so if the weather is wet, it's not really a problem. I've mentioned before the type of grilled pork that is sold in Trang. It's different to grilled pork elsewhere, and they're selling it at a stall here. Prasit Muyang Trang. Lots and lots and lots of plants and flowers, so it's a good place if you're a keen gardener. And you probably can't see it because the camera is compensating, but it's now getting very dark, and you may be able to hear some thunder in the background. It sounds like there's a real storm brewing outside. This shop is selling various fruit trees, and a couple of years ago I bought a couple of pomegranate trees from here. One died, I've still got the other one, and it bears fruit, but the fruit isn't that good. The pomegranates are quite dry inside, but they've got all sorts of fruit trees here. Listen to that rain. There's a very appropriate sign for the current weather conditions. We're now in the furniture section, and what I recommend looking out for is the wooden furniture that's carved and made in Chiang Mai. They've got some really beautiful stuff. The orange sign up there says Chiang Mai, and kitchen implements, all carved wood. I don't know what it is about that area of the country, but the things they produce up there are just so much better looking than products from elsewhere in the country. Some very ornate chopping boards over here. This gentleman here is the owner of the stall, and he designs and makes all of the stuff himself. Very clever man. What about this for a dining table?
Yeah.
The guy doesn't know how much it weighs, but it must weigh a ton. It's made of one piece of wood. It comes from Burma, and the price is 85,000 baht. Here are some paintings, but to be honest, my wife is an art teacher, and she's got a friend who works in Phuket doing this sort of thing for tourists. And if we want anything like this, we can just tell her what we want, and she'll do it really cheaply. We've got a few paintings like this in the house. There's always a huge amount of food at these places. Thais are absolutely obsessed with food. If you don't know any Thai, when you meet someone, you don't say how are you. You ask, have you eaten yet? Gin khao riyang. That's sort of an indication of how important food is to the Thais. And it's not just Thai food. In addition to the kebabs, they've also got burgers and pizza. As we're getting into the evening, it's getting even busier here. I don't know how many people there are, but it's tens of thousands. And during the course of the fair, they must see hundreds of thousands of people. And the logistics and organisation are really excellent, you know, arranging for all the vendors to have spaces and to get all their stuff here and just to put all these tents up. The only problem is car parking. I drove around for almost 30 minutes today just trying to find a car parking space, because everyone comes here by car and parking is a bit of a nightmare. And when you do find a space, you end up with quite a long walk to the fair. The sky still looks pretty grey, but the rain has stopped. And this is the outdoor area, so we'll take a look around here. Here's the Ford stand, and I was at the Ford showroom the other day because my car is having some repairs done at the moment, and there are no passenger cars for sale now. It's just pickup trucks and big Everest SUVs. And in Thailand, 49% of vehicles sold, private vehicles, are pickup trucks. And that's the whole of the country. And out in the provinces, it's actually a higher percentage because there's more cars in Bangkok. So Thais love their pickup trucks. Can't remember seeing this before, but this year they have a goat festival. Okay. Here's the Mitsubishi stand, and once again there's a big emphasis on pickup trucks. And the girl here in the red dress is known as a pretty, and this is actually a job description in Thailand. Now, a pretty, she doesn't work for Mitsubishi, she's just hired for the day for her looks, and she reads information about the cars from a sheet of paper. Here's another Ford stand, and once again it's all pickup trucks and Everest SUVs, no Fiestas or Focuses. Mazda, Mitsubishi, and Suzuki motorbikes. And looks like some bigger bikes over here. Royal Enfield. It's an old British name, but I think these are made in India now. Or possibly a factory in Thailand, I'm not so sure. Being an agricultural fair, there are normally a lot more agricultural vehicles. I've only seen one tractor this year. And here is some more agricultural farm equipment. I'm here today with my wife and son, and they've started to look a bit bored and they're making noises about going home. So I'm going to have to wrap it up here. But if you are in Hat Yai, this is very worthwhile visiting. I've been to dozens of fairs in Thailand, and for the reasons I stated earlier, most are a waste of time, but this is one fair that is really worth visiting. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you again soon.